Since the dawn of popular media, there always been a fantasy or a sci-fi. Let it be a movie, game, TV show, or a book. It's been the top, and we can describe that era as that media. For example, there was a Star Wars era, there was an Harry Potter era, and there was a Game of Thrones. And for MCU, it's still going on, but right now it's been a bit of a low point. But there was a period where MCU is in the top game of pop media culture. And like a few days ago, there was a deal made by Apple Television with the author called Brandon Sanderson, and to adapt his novel works, which is Miss Bond and Stormlight Archive, and also a couple of novels connected to a universe called Cosmere. Maybe if you're a Brandon Sanderson fan, you know how big this news is, but you don't know about anything Brandon Sanderson, but you just heard this news, you may think it's as like another fantasy adaptation, because a lot of fantasy novels getting adapted, sci-fi novels getting adapted right now by Prime, Netflix, and all that, and you'll think this one will be the you know will be a voice in the noise, but it's not. Not only my prediction, but if all the things done right, this could be the next big thing in the pop culture. This could be the next. This could be like a Game of Thrones Harry Potter mixed with the hype of and Marvel Cinematic Universe. So let's talk about that. But I talk about Cosmere and Brandon Sanderson. If you're watching this video, you probably be a fan of Brandon Sanderson or a fan of fantasy or books or reading, or you wouldn't have read any book in your life, but you like to read or you like to watch videos about books and all that. But my question is, where you're watching from? Maybe you're watching from Tamil Nadu, maybe you're watching from anywhere in India, because I'm from Tamil Nadu and I'm trying to build a Tamil. I know a lot of people here who speak Tamil and read English novels. நான் நிறைய பேசுகிற புக்ஸ் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இங்கிலீஷ் நாவல்ஸ், நான் படிச்சதில் இங்கிலீஷ் நாவல்ஸ். நான் இப்போ தமிழ் புக்கை பற்றி பேச போகிறேன்னா ஐ straight away make a video in Tamil. But I've made a lot of videos about English novels in Tamil, but they're not reaching. Maybe the people who read English books doesn't have any interest in watching a Tamil video about that book. I don't know, maybe you like it, maybe you're not. பிகாஸ் இஃப் யூ ஒர்க், அது வந்து நான் ஒரு பெரிய கன்ஃபியூஷன் ஏறாத மாதிரி இருக்குது. இப்போ நான் தமிழ்லேருந்து நிறைய ஆடியன்ஸ் பார்க்குறீங்க, உங்களுக்கு தமிழில் ஒரு பிராண்ட் சென்சன் கம்யூனிட்டி எனக்கு பில்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு நிறைய இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் இருக்குது. ஸோ மேபி இஃப் யூ ஆர் லைக் தட், கமெண்ட் பண்ணிங்கன்னா ஐ வில் கண்டினியூ மேக் மெனி வீடியோஸ் இன் தமிழ். ஆர் இஃப் யூ சம்மன் வாட்சிங் ஃப்ரம் எனி பார்ட் ஆஃப் இந்தியா ஆர் எனிவேர் and you like me to make videos in English, maybe this video reaches a lot, I will continue to make videos in English. So but anyway, subscribe to this channel if you like to watch videos about books and all that. And I did a couple of videos, you can go and watch if you are interested, and then subscribe to me. So yeah, that's my question. If you are interested, just leave a comment. It's time to talk about Cosmere, baby. So what is Cosmere? Maybe if you heard this name, or you're gonna hear this name a lot in the upcoming years, so let me be the first one to tell you. So Cosmere is a connected universe of novels written by an author called Brandon Sanderson. Simply like MCU, but with books, novellas, novels, and short stories. So this one is like a fantasy world. In Cosmere, there are two big series. One is Miss Bond, and other one is Stormlight Archive. Miss Bond, it's a trilogies of trilogies. At least that's what was planned. But if you're getting to know about Brandon Sanderson, you should used to. He's announcing a ton of books in a week. So it was meant to be a trilogy of trilogies, but right now it's 5 trilogies. I haven't written yet. The 2 trilogies have been released, and Sanderson is planning on to write 3 more trilogies, and that would be the end of Cosmere. With also the Stormlight Archive, which is planned to be a 10-book series, but each book is about 1100 or 1200 pages. So Brandon Sanderson write every Stormlight Archive book as a trilogy. So the 5 books have been done in Stormlight Archive, and you got some time, because the next 6th book is gonna come in like it's gonna take like 6 or 7 years to come. So and there are a lot of novels, standalone novels, novellas, short stories around Cosmere. The thing about Cosmere is it's not like an active universe. It's becoming an active universe right now. But if you're just getting started with Miss Bond or the first book of Stormlight, there are a lot of starting point in Cosmere. If you're starting that, You may think, where's the universe, where's the connectivity? You can't find it because it's like the phase one of Marvel. These are like there are a lot of ends, and at the beginning also Sanderson didn't like obviously given the universe to us because fans found it. And for a couple of years in the beginning, there was a one character called Hoyd, and he was the only connectivity between this universe, between these books and this world. But right now, I haven't read it. I haven't even read a Stormlight Archive book. So, but right now, like in the second trilogy of Miss Bond and the last books of Stormlight Archive, there are some lot of connection regarding Cosmere. But at the beginning, you won't find any. You only find like simple Easter eggs. Brandon Sanderson, he is like a, if I have to like put in a one word for him, like he's the most productive human in this world right now. You know, he started his career in the early 2000 with Elantris, and that still been talked about like a game changer for fantasy because he's mainly famous for finishing the Wheel of Time series. Maybe you would have seen the TV show from Prime Video. The Wheel of Time is like a popular fantasy series. It's a beginning of a modern fantasy genre, and but the author did die before the series get finished. The book series get finished, and he was like Brandon Sanderson was an yearly author coming out. He was chosen, and he did finish the book of Wheel of Time series. If you don't know, he was like the biggest stan of Wheel of Time, and he did come and finish the Wheel of Time series, and a lot of people satisfied with his writing. It isn't easy to like continue a legacy of an author who did write like so many books in a series and finish it with the fans being satisfied with it. And that's a main reason he got famous to the fantasy world. But after that, he kept his name renowned every time in fantasy. And like after 2020 or 21, he became the biggest fantasy author in the world. But the best thing about Brandon Sanderson or his popularity is he's the one of the popular fantasy author who have no adaptation to his novel. Because you may think like J.K. Rowling is famous, George R. R. Martin is famous right now. But Brandon Sanderson he didn't have any adaptation right now, but yet he's one of the biggest fantasy author. He's one of the popular fantasy author, and his Cosmere books are famous Cosmere one of the famous fantasy novels. Let's talk about the adoption. So Brandon Sanderson has been trying to get the Cosmere adopted since like 2014. It's not like, and it's been like 10 years right now. It's almost more than 10 years right now. It's not because no one bought it. There are a lot of series getting adapted right now, so it's not like an odd job to just sell a fantasy book which is like most popular among the audience. Some authors, they say like they had a creative control over the adoption and all that, but they never did like add an 100% creative control. But Sanderson need it because not only for a book he need a whole control over the universe. He has been asking that, and that's the reason the deal hasn't been happened with any bigger studio. But right now, what Apple TV did was like a never happened thing, because they're not like just buying a novel property from an author. They taking him as a right companion, like a right partner. They haven't like paid him yet, maybe, I don't know, but not publicly. They bought the Cosmere. They're just getting a partner with Brandon Sanderson, so he has the full creative control. Like, think about Kevin Feige or James Gunn. All right, maybe more than them. He's gonna write the script, and that's the best part about it. And it's not like do every casting and all that, but he has the say to cast a actor to to like announce the movie or poster or whatever, and also he has the handle for the old Cosmere. But the Mistborn and the Stormlight Archive series has to work. If they work, thus Cosmere will be adapted into a wide bang universe. And why do I think this is gonna be the best thing? This gonna be the next big thing because of Brandon Sanderson, because he's the GOAT! The GOAT! I've been a fan of him for like 4 years now. I think it's like early 2001. I watched some of his writing tips video in YouTube. From then, he's been in my top three top 3 most watched channel list in my subscription in YouTube. And I've been watching his podcast. I watched his lot of Q&As and all that. He's like, he's like a parasocial mentor to me. He could have easily sold this property a way long back, like a lot of authors did, but he didn't. He needed an authentic adaptation. He needed authentic material to be adapted into a film, or if it didn't happen, it just don't. I gotta say a lot about Cosmere. Like it's a fantasy world, but it's not like a Game of Thrones level gritty. It's not even also like Harry Potter level, like PG-13. It's there. It talks about this depression. It's there are magic and all. There are magic. There are wide world building. There are deeper world building. There are deeper lore that Cosmere has, and there's a lot of talk about like depression, and maybe sometimes they go like grittier and grittier, but not like Game of Thrones where it's like or strong or rating. It's not like that. So at that first this has a reach, and after that it's a wide connected universe, and there are a lot of different, even if they all come under fantasy, there are a lot of different kind of genres that can be adapted and people maybe watch it. And it will, like Marvel Cinematic Universe, the connected universes has a bigger potential to make people interested in that. And also it's being in fantasy, and it having a deeper lore and a deeper world building, and the character arcs like the best thing. And the best thing about Brandon Sanderson is, his book is easily adaptable. The magic system, the world, they are very hard to adapt. I don't even know how they're gonna like fit a Miss Bond book into a movie. But Brandon Sanderson writing the script, so I'm not worrying about that. But the character arcs, the payoffs, and all that, like they are like a best thing if they done right in the movies. And the connected universe part, they're gonna sell it right back. But also the best thing about Brandon Sanderson is magic system. His magic system, or like if you don't know about magic system, in Harry Potter they like use wands and say spells. That's like a soft magic. In Lord of the Rings or maybe in some other fantasy shows, you don't even know. They have some powers, they have lesser powers, so they are simply that. But a hard magic system is like if the fantasy world was a real world. you know if you are in this world, if you think like running and skydiving is like superpowers, here you can explain the phenomenon. Here you can explain the laws, that the extent you can go or the extent you can go and all that. So you imagine in a fantasy world where there is a magic, where you can throw a coin, where you can use a coin to fly off a building, and more on that. But you can explain there are laws to the system and there are limits to the system, and sometimes there are a key or a cheat code to make the system more powerful. That's like it's like a magic system, but explained like it's from an like a law, or like a science law, something like that. Oh, that kind of a thing. And also the world building will be an easily adaptable into a video game. And I for sure I know Miss Bond trilogy will be a banger of a video game if it done right. Like one of the popular video games, like an audio or Elden Ring, it will become the most famous fantasy game out there. And if the movie is done right, it will be the biggest connected universe. And since these fantasy elements will be a new interest to the fans, and that will be like another pop culture, and it's already a biggest thing in the literature area. So this probably the biggest next thing in the pop culture in 2 or 3 years. And so if you're interested right now, you still have time, like 2-3 years to get into this book. And uh, that's it, man. So like if you've been a Cosmere fan, like I was like just 5 or 4 years ago, but the Cosmere since existed like 2006 or 2007, and I don't know how they will feel like, you know and yes, if you're interested for more Cosmere videos and Brandon Sanderson, you can subscribe to the channel. And தமிழில் உங்களுக்கு இந்த வீடியோஸ் வேணும்னா just comment, and I will put out many Tamil videos on these Cosmere and Brandon Sanderson also. So ciao for now, see you later.